You've heard of the full focus planner and maybe you've even bought one, but now you're like, how do I even get started on this? Or maybe you're interested, but you just cannot even buy another expensive planner, especially without even knowing if it's going to work for you. If that's you, well, then this video is right up your alley. I'll go through both paper and digital options for the four things that I think everybody can benefit from out of the full focus method: daily big three, weekly big three, daily pages, and weekly preview. I think these are the easiest to start with, and everybody can start whether they buy the planner or not. But I'm also going to give you some ideas why I think maybe you might want to consider buying it at least once or twice. So if you're curious about the full focus approach, or you don't want to dive into all the parts of the planner at once, start here. The daily big three. It is the best thing that you may not be doing yet. Instead of juggling 20 to dos and not getting through many of them, this way you're going to set out what are the three most important things for you to accomplish for the day and help you win the day. Sure, getting 20 things done would be awesome, but if none of them are the things you really should be getting done, what's the point? In the beginning, don't worry about what kinds of tasks should be in your big three. Just think about, what do you want to feel at the end of the day or the end of the week? Do you want to feel more accomplished, more relaxed, more freer? What kind of things are going to help you get that feeling that you want to achieve? Don't overthink it. Just plan three things and then strive to execute them each day. You're building this daily three habit. You're not trying to find the perfect daily big three every day. Some people try to get these things done first, their daily big three, like Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy says. Some people, they know that they work best at a particular time of day, so they schedule their big three tasks at that time of day. And I think most people don't really think of it in any of those terms, but see if one of those things might work for you. Figure out how you're going to keep them in mind as you move throughout the day if you don't get them done first thing. If you're using the Full Focus Planner, you've got a designated spot for your daily big three. If you're using another daily planner or another planner or notebook, then you can just make a spot, or even putting on a sticky note will make it stand out. And that way you can use either inside your planner or outside your planner. For digital options, think about what's going to make it most readily visible to you throughout the day. If you're going to be using your phone, then you probably want something that will keep showing up on a widget like an Apple Note or Google Keep. If you are mostly at a computer, anything that you can keep open, you could still use an Apple Note or Google Keep, or maybe just a dock, or anything where you can keep it open. If you're in a project manager, task manager, or just your digital calendar throughout the day, then there's ways to integrate it in there if you want to see some suggestions of that. I'm not going to go down every road, but just let me know that you'd like to see that. The daily pages. This is the daily layout that you're going to be in each morning. It's got places for that daily big three, but also a schedule, notes, more tasks, a few other things. You don't have to use every part of every daily page every day, but you're building a daily planning habit. You're building the habit of being intentional at the beginning of each day. You might do this planning in the morning before you get started. You might do it the day before as you're wrapping up the previous day and forwarding things onto the next day. And then you might just have to tweak it in the morning. Or you might even be doing it the weekly planning session, and then just each morning doing that little bit of tweaking as necessary. You can do this in the planner. If you're using the Full Focus Planner, you've got a page or two, depending on the version. If you're making your own, again, or using another planner, you can use a daily page, use a page, use a full page, use a partial page. Now that I'm using my spiral notebook, I don't always use a full page. Probably half the time I do. Uh, if I'm working on several things throughout the day, I will draw out that daily page and I'll make the schedule. I like doing it in the notebook because I like taller lines than are in the planner. I like a wider section that's in the planner. If I'm using that schedule, I want more room to write, and I make my task list skinnier. If I'm doing one thing all day, then I don't necessarily need that schedule. And so then I'll just kind of have a task list in place for notes. One thing that's on those daily pages in the more recent versions of the planners that I was really enjoying when I was in the planner was the daily wins section. Now, I'm not great at including that in my paper version that I'm making myself. The other thing, another do as I say, not as I do, when you're picking tasks, again, we talked about getting 20 tasks done in a day would be great, but you're probably not going to. So be judicious with the tasks that you put on your daily page beyond your big three. It's better to choose a few, get them done, and then choose a few more than to list a whole bunch that you're going to have to forward. Again, I totally am saying do as I say, not as I do here. It's something that I am definitely working on is planning less each day and then getting that win. On to digital options. Like I said, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, maybe a note is good and you can do your daily big three at the top and then a little place for what your appointments are and then place for whatever else you need. You can do the same thing in just a Google Doc. And there's ways to integrate Google Doc and Google Keep, but I think it just makes a new doc each day, which maybe you want, maybe you don't. I don't know. Point is, just try different things. Other options are just any kind of doc you can open on your computer or phone. You can use OneNote or Evernote or Google Doc. And like I said before, if you're in your digital calendar, task manager, project manager, there are ways to integrate that and just choose your daily task there and maybe have a place separate for notes. That's another option. Again, if you want to see those, just let me know and I'll put something more together. The key here is building that intentional daily plan each day. The weekly big three, just like the daily big three, it's just setting out those priorities and what do you want to feel like? What do you need to get accomplished for the week? Don't overthink it. Don't try to get just the right weekly big three. Just pick something. And then the big key is you're going to be reflecting the next week on how you did and if you like what you chose. So this just brings us right on into the weekly preview. In a nutshell, the weekly preview includes a reflecting section where you're looking back and making notes on how you're going to change the following week. It includes a goal review and updating if necessary. And it includes a planning your week section, including planning your big three. If you're not using the planner, you just need someplace to write or someplace to type, but you also need some kind of a set of prompts to get you going. Now, I'm not going to copy exactly the full focus ones, but I'm going to give you a light framework. I have a very extensive one. I'm just going to give you a light one just so you have something to get started. And then I really encourage you to make it your own as you move forward. But if you want my light version, grab that in the links below. I love the reflecting part. List your wins, look back on your weekly big three, see how you did. Remember to measure the gain and not the gap. That's a Michael Hyatt, the full focus founder. That's one of his sayings, meaning look at what you've accomplished. Don't beat yourself up for what you didn't. You're further ahead than you were, and that's always good. This reflecting part turns this into a weekly learning cycle. I love the commitment to reviewing your goals, but I'm not going to say a lot about that here because this one isn't going to be about goals. I love the weekly big three and planning your week. Now, I do see some shortcomings. I think there's a little haphazardness between the goal part and then the planning your week part. That's just my take. And again, it's probably my bent towards bottom up versus top down that makes me see it that way. That's okay. We're all different. This is why I feel like it's best combined with something like GTD or those kind of bottom up elements. But that's a story for another time. I do have a video coming out on that soon. It'll be below when I have it done. Different versions of the full focus planner give different arrangements and amounts of space for weekly planning. Just have some place where you're looking at your appointments, engagements for next week, figuring out how much time you have to get other things done, and having a place or a way that you figure out how you're going to look at that as the week goes on. The planning your week part, the how isn't important. The that you do it is what's important. And then the iteration, whatever you did this week, when you look back during the reflection part the next week, how did it work? What will you keep? What will you change? That's what's important. Like the daily big three, the weekly big three, the big thing is keep it visible. So I write it in my notebook, but I also put it on a post-it that I either put on I move it from day to day on each of my pages, or I have it on my monitor, or I have it on a picture frame. Again, depends what I'm doing, where I'll keep it, but I write it in the planner so I have the record of it, but I also do it on the post-it. Should you buy the planner? This is one of those things where I would say, if this all sounds good to you, you might want to buy it at least once, maybe twice, see how it goes. But if you're not going to, maybe you do want to set it up and try paper first and set up a month or two. Sit on the couch, doesn't have to be beautiful, just set up the pages. And even if you don't end up using each day, if you're setting up in a cheap notebook, then that's fine if you don't use it. But again, reflect. Do you use it each day? Do you use it a few days a week? Do you like having it set up ahead? Do you not like having it set up ahead? And then if you don't like using the notebook, then you can move on to using digital things. I'm going to say for me, the paper always has to be the hub. Now I go bounce back and forth between using a task or project management system or paper. I always have my calendar digital. But if I have a notebook I like or a planner, I like using it. I like picking it up. I hate my writing. Some of you are going to say, oh, I can't work on paper. I can't even read my own writing. Have you seen my writing? It's horrible. It's awful. I used to try. I don't try anymore. I know I can decipher it, but it's ugly, which is why sometimes it's hard to show you on camera. I love working with apps. I love working on my computer. I love working on my phone, but out of sight, out of mind. Those apps, they hide in the computer. So the paper notebook, it's there, it's staring at me, it's calling to me, and I like to pick it up and I like my pens. So see where you fit there. And again, experiment. Just try and let me know. Try and then come back and say, nope, that didn't work for me. I'm going back to XYZ. I would love to hear that. That's your crash course and what I think gives you the most bang for your buck, getting started with the full focus system or planner. Just using those daily and weekly features, they really can be transformative. They're going to set you up with a system of habits that are going to help you be successful, whichever direction you decide to go from there. I'm going to have more videos on full focus coming out over the next chunk of time. If there's something specific you hope I'm doing sooner than later, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to grab that weekly preview prompt sheet that I have for you, and we'll see you back here again soon. Thanks for being here. Take care.